mishap.
This could be make or break. It's gonna be a race tomorrow. I'm sick to my stomach.
The whiplash of emotions.
Come let us pay you money to look like idiots and walk around with our heads cut off. This is why you drive 7 hours before buying a barn. What's up, guys? So it's been a little bit since we last chatted. Business has been good enough to provide for our families, but not been booming. But we got a plan, and this plan involves buying a very large barn in a faraway land called Indiana. We're actually going to Indiana. Our old plan was take down Iowa barns that aren't as valuable. We'd have to take down 2 or 3 a month in order to keep up with expenses. With this new plan, we're really hoping that we can travel. We'll have to spend 5 days away from our family. You know, that's a sacrifice, but we're hoping is we'll only have to take down 1 barn every month or every 2 months because the barnwood is just so much more valuable. So that's the plan. We're gonna go look at those barns and we're gonna see what Indiana has to offer, and maybe this is our path forward. Maybe not.
Well, I think pictures are pretty beautiful. There's gonna be a lot of really good lumber in it. I do think we're gonna be a little bit disappointed in how much the weather has gotten to it from the roof caving in.
My predictions are it's gonna be the best barn we've ever come across, and we're gonna be very happy and not disappointed at all.
Love the optimism.
We'll see what this barn has for us and if it was worth the 6.5 hours.
We're looking at the barn and pretty disappointed overall.
The barn wasn't quite what we were expecting, and not in a good way. There was a lot of rot. There was not as much material as we thought we were going to have.
Not too excited about it. We'll see what the basement shows us. Look alright. They've got a significant amount of bug damage. Not in a cute way either. It's just so soft. None of that's usable.
There's not what we're looking for in this other barn. I don't know. We'll have to see how much board footage we can even save. Bad news, the beams in the other barn are sawn.
And small.
And small, so not quite what we're looking for. So I'll have to tally up the measurements that Elias and I got in the big barn, see if we can even get a semi out of this, which is kind of a bummer.
We go through and we tally every single beam that we think for sure is going to be able to be salvaged. We've got 11, 12, 13, maybe more 1,000 feet of good board footage. We devised a plan to take the sleepers back and build a cabin out of it, and then sell the rest of the nice 4-sided hand hewn that I think is going to be a great addition to some company that's going to buy it as a wholesale. So
yeah, there was enough for a semi, roughly. We accepted the offer, and we're gonna be off to Indiana taking our first out-of-state barn down, and it's gonna be a pretty big risk. We'll see how it goes. This one may be a little controversial. we've decided that we're going to take this barn down in Indiana. It's a bit of a risk for us. We're gonna take half of the barn essentially back to build a cabin out of, and that's gonna be money down the line for us. And then we're hoping that we can salvage somewhere between 8,000 and 10,000 board feet of four-sided hand-hewns in order to send to a customer in Tennessee. If we can do that, we think the trip will be worth it. But before we put our foot to the pedal and drive 6.5 hours, we've got to get some things ready. And one of those things that we got to get ready is we've got to line up a telehandler. If you've watched our previous videos, you know how essential and crucial a telehandler can be to the deconstruction process. It's one of the most important machines that we use in our business. With that being said, we called Sunbelt a week before we were supposed to start the job in Indiana, and we reserved a telehandler with them. Now fast forward 5 days, and I get a missed call from Sunbelt and a voicemail. And I looked at the voicemail. They told me over voicemail that the telehandler that we reserved a week ago, which we had already paid for, wasn't actually available, and they didn't actually have it. And so I tried calling them back and they were closed, and I looked at their website and they were closed all throughout the weekend, so the earliest I could call them was Monday. And we need to keep working because we're a young business and we need to keep the cash flow going. So we can't just take a week off or just wait for Sunbelt to have a telehandler ready for us. Saturday morning, I call Sunbelt Corporate. I try to get a hold of a manager just kind of in a roundabout way. That was unsuccessful. So basically came to the conclusion that we weren't going to get our telehandler through Sunbelt. Now we did buy a telehandler about a year ago, and it's back in Iowa where we normally work. Originally we didn't want to ship it all the way to Indiana just in case something broke and we don't know the mechanics in the area. The cost of shipping it is relatively expensive. And so what I did Saturday, I just started calling trucking brokers. He was actually the first one I called. His name was Dell, and he's based out of Florida, and he specializes in moving equipment. And so Dell told me that he would be able to get our telehandler from Iowa to Indiana by Monday afternoon for 3 times less money than we were gonna pay Sunbelt to rent one. So I'm ecstatic. It's actually gonna be our telehandler that we're used to, and it's gonna cost us 3 times less. We're gonna head out Monday morning. We're gonna leave bright and early Monday morning, and gonna get on the road, and we've got 5 days to get this down. We've already got a truck scheduled for Thursday afternoon to come and pick up the sleepers that are gonna turn into a cabin. That truck's going back to Iowa. And then we've got a truck scheduled for Friday that's gonna bring a load of four-sided hand-hewn beams all the way down to Tennessee. Now we're really hoping that those four-sided beams, that there's gonna be enough there for a truckload, but we're taking a little bit of a risk here. So we've got 5 days. We've got the truck scheduled already. We've got to work within the time frame, so let's hope it all goes according to plan. We're here.
We're back. What's going on?
Well, we're kind of stuck. It's exactly what we didn't want to happen this week. Trucking broker kind of let us down here. Dell was very confident that he was able to get our telehandler to the job site Monday afternoon. And it wasn't until I called him at like 2 o'clock Monday afternoon to say like, hey, where's our telehandler? That he let me know that he hadn't even found a trucker to pick it up. He said, oh, I just got a text from a guy. So he's gonna check on this guy's qualification, make sure he's a qualified driver. Long story short, we don't have a telehandler. If we don't get a telehandler here, we're just wasting our time. Like, this is about all we can do without a telehandler.
Came all this way on our time, on our family's time. So we're supposed to get this thing done and be like on the road midday Friday, and we're not off to a good start. We got 2 measly piles of wood and a lot of work.
Hello?
Hey Ezra, it's Del. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Well, this guy, he can pick it up in the morning. He can handle 33,000 pounds. The only kicker here is he doesn't have ramps. Do you have? Can they load it without ramps, and can you unload it without ramps?
I don't know how you load it up without ramps.
I'm daddy. I'm a teddy bear.
Alright, so we ran out of things to do at the barn, so we decided to head back. Still have not resolved the telehandler situation, but we're gonna go eat some buffalo wings and watch football.
Yeah, that'll make me feel better. It's some consolation for the giant hell of a day. Oh, we've not. We're traveling from Iowa, so yeah, that'll be awesome. I think we got a lift. He's got to check with dispatch, make sure, but it's a company pretty much up by Chicago, and they didn't have any telehandlers, but they have a rotating telehandler, which sounds like it might be freaking legit. We'll see. I'm gonna call back about 5 or 10 minutes. I don't know. I'm gonna have Ezra explain to you the series of events that just happened.
Alright, so you guys know we were really excited about this rotating telehandler. We're working with the company. They give us a quote, basically $3,700, which is what we were gonna spend originally. And we're like, alright, we're good to go. Let's lock it in. And I'm just like, wow, this has just been an up and down kind of day, man. He's like, well, I got another down for you because they just raised the price to $5,500 because they didn't put in the money it would cost to bring the load back, just what it would cost to have it delivered. We can't pay that kind of money. So we have one ace in our pocket, and it's this company. They're kind of a broker for telehandlers. Give them a call. They have one telehandler available. I give them the credit card number, and we get a call from our homeboy, Del. I pick up. Del's like out of breath. He's breathing hard. He's like, I got a trucker for you. We got it locked in tomorrow morning for $1,600. I'm like, done freaking deal. Let's go. So that's where we're at right now. Things could still go down.
We'll probably have another story of Del was like, oh, sorry, it was only an F-150. The saga continues. Yeah, our guy, Del. Not our guy anymore. Del tells us, yep, got a lift. We can get to you tomorrow. He gives us the trucker's number. We call a trucker. Turns out he's not even confident it's going to get here until not tomorrow, but the day after, and mid-morning the day after.
Elias called Sunbelt back, okay? And then all of a sudden I get a call from Randy, the store manager, and he says, hey, Ezra, are you still looking for a lift? Yeah, like really badly. He's like, well, could you hold off till tomorrow? I'm like, yeah, I can. It's like, well, we'll have a 10,000 pound capacity, 55-foot telehandler to you tomorrow with solid tires. I'm like, oh, thank you, Lord, thank you.
We were just kind of weighing our options. We could go Del, was let us down a few times, less sure. Sunbelt was let us down once, pretty big, kind of got us in this whole pickle. But it was that one time we went with the big guys. We're gonna have to fork out some more cash, and here we are.
Okay, we went with Sunbelt. I left the dumb there just in case something goes awry a little bit later. They're gonna have our telehandler here tomorrow morning. Oh, you foreign delicacy.
Oh, your presence is coveted in the state of Indiana.
Telehandler on site, baby. Typically, a barn from start to finish takes us about a week. That's why we scheduled 5 days for this. Now with the issues we've had with our telehandler, we only got 3 days left. We've got a full day to get the structure down and then pull out the sleeper logs. If we accomplish this barn, If we get it done, this will be the quickest barn we've ever done. And when I say it takes 5 days to get a barn done, I mean it just takes 5 days to actually get it down. We've got to de-nail, roll through beams, trim boards. We've got any kind of 1x or 2x that we want to bring back. It needs to be banded so it can be loaded on a semi. So we've got our work cut out for us. This roof's gonna come off. What's your prediction? When will we have the roof off by?
The entire roof off by 12:15.
And what time is it now?
9:35.
All right, let's get to it. The roof's almost gone and it's 12 o'clock on the dot. So Elias's prediction was pretty good.
And it's 18 inches.
Ooh. 27 usable. We got some cows that are interested in getting back in the barn, so I better just make sure they don't really think about doing that. Come on now. All right, the last wall coming down, and it's not even 5. Now that's a beam.
I think that joinery on those end pieces is so cool.
Yeah.
Seems like overkill, but it's really neat. If there's any timber framers who know what that's called, who are watching this, you should comment, let us know, because I don't know what that joint's called. It's kind of like a little combo joint. It's pretty cool. We got more done in one day than we ever have on a job site. We got the entire top frame out, and we got probably about half of the sleeper logs out of the basement. And so we're feeling pretty good about it, but there's still a lot of work to be done before the semi comes that next day.
What a day, what a day. Yeah. We only had a few more sleeper logs out of the bottom to pull out. We only had to deconstruct the rest of the structure that was actually comprising the basement. Hopefully tomorrow we're able to send a load back to Iowa that's going to be turned into a cabin. And then Friday, our hope is to get the rest of the barnwood on a semi headed to Tennessee where our buyers are. If we can do that, we're heading the right direction. So today was a good day. We got a lot done, and hopefully we can keep the momentum going. The truck is here. First semi. The semi is going back to Iowa with all the sleeper logs. We got all 17 of them out, and just a few extra things that we wanted to keep. Basically, semi number 1, as long as we get it all loaded up, we got it all done in time. After that, we'll be able to turn our focus to getting our customers down in Tennessee the 4-sided hand hewn beams that we promised them, and clean up this mess and go home.
really happy with where we got today, that all the beams are out of the barn, and it's gonna be a race tomorrow.
So time is running short. It's Friday morning. Couldn't get a lot of filming in because we knew that we had to get all these beams rolled through, de-nailed, stacked, assembled, trimmed before we sent them to our customer. And all we have is the morning. At noon, our driver is supposed to arrive, and he arrived 1 hour early. Thankfully, the driver was just an old school guy. He was coming back from Texas. He had nowhere else to be, so he was willing to wait for us. We hurried through the beams, de-nailed as much as we could. We got probably 90% of the nails and the metal out of the wood. We got maybe 95% of the wood trimmed the way we wanted it to be. Got it on the flatbed, shipped it out, waved goodbye. Typically that would be the end of the work when we're working back in Iowa, but we still had a lot to clean up.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down that wall. Yeah, unity. So the owner of the property was kind of telling us some of the history of it a little bit. They had bought it only about 6 years back, and but this barn's been around for a long time. They actually have this really cool document they found online of a painting that has the owners of the land back in the mid 1800s, soon after this barn was built and this farmstead was established. There's a ton of history in those timbers that carried the weight of that barn for so many years. So really cool piece of history that we were able to tie to the barn. And that's a lot of fun when we can do that. So once we finally got it done, felt really good about the way that we left it. There was not a single beam outside the property. That pieces of junk we put all back inside, so felt really good about that.
Okay. Dude, Elias, look at the windshield. Oh my gosh.
It had to been like that. Jeez. Honey, I'm coming home.
6.5 hours. Be back home. We got the board footage of each beam. Now, while we're driving back to Iowa, I'm gonna go ahead and add that board footage up and see if we've got our magic number. And our magic number is 8,900 board feet. Okay, it's all tallied up. Ready? 8,996.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Really, the only thing left to do now that we know we got our board footage that our customers were expecting is to wait. Monday morning, our truck will arrive down in Tennessee. They'll get it unloaded. They'll roll through it that day, and hopefully Monday afternoon, we'll find out, was it worth it? Are they going to pay us what this top dollar amount that we're wanting? Is the wood that good? Is it top tier wood? Or are they not going to be happy with it? Is it going to be something that's disappointing to them? So we've sent them, the last semi we sent them was from a barn in Iowa, and they said it was our best semi yet. We're hoping that this semi blows that semi out of the water and just gives us a path forward, a path that's repeatable, and a way that we can get out of state once a month or once every 2 months to find these really nice barns that have the really nice material in them to make it worth our time. But really, it's just a matter of waiting. So was it worth it? Will we have enough? Will we get paid enough? We'll have to wait and see.